you can continue the good work that you've been doing with your sustainability mini project. We only have a few class periods left, so really what we're going to be doing today is thinking not only about our problem and the different aspects of an action becoming problematic or unsustainable, but really thinking about what's causing your action to be unsustainable within sort of a historical, societal, and economic model. Obviously, human actions have inputs that make people want to do things. They have the actual event occur, and then there's the consequences, which we generally see as the pollution and the effects of the action, like eating a donut, that may or may not make that action sustainable or unsustainable. And remember, what we talked about is that sustainability really means that the action that people do can really continue for entirety without significant costs or increasing costs or harm. Well, unsustainable means that the action has a really costly barrier over time to making that action more and more prohibitive, more and more costly. It doesn't mean that we need to limit the action. It just means that we need to rethink how and why we do that action, and how can we rework it to maybe lower the costs or lower the penalties of that. Just a reminder that the word unsustainable really means that there might be prohibitive costs from growing. The benefits of growth might be outweighed by the costs. And we're really trying to figure out, what is that known maximum? How many pounds of beef can we eat? How many dollars can we loan out? How tall can we get before our heart works too much? And that's what we're going to be thinking about over the next week or so. So your work today really wants to start thinking about, how could it be sustainable? How could some action you're researching, A, be sustainable, and also B, was it ever sustainable? So we can think of all of these different common actions that we do on a day-to-day basis: driving a car, eating a hamburger, taking a shower, watching TV, and we can really think about, has that action gotten better or has it gotten worse? Or maybe both have happened at the same time. Maybe an action in some ways has gotten more sustainable or better for the environment over time, and in some ways it has. A good caveat is the Model T or the Hummer. Now, a lot of you weren't around in the late 90s to early 2000s when the Hummer was all the rage, but this thing got 10 miles to the gallon. It was a behemoth. Now you look at the Model T and you ask yourself, what was its fuel economy? And I took a poll yesterday in one of the earth science classes, and they were thinking 4, 5, 6 miles per gallon. But indeed, the Model T got 25 miles per gallon. In 1930s, we were able to create an engine that got 25 miles of driving from 1 gallon of gas. So in some ways, we can consider this a less sustainable evolution. The Hummer also can consume more gas, it has a bigger engine, and people also drive further. Same thing with eating a hamburger. Hamburgers have gotten bigger over time, we eat more hamburgers over time, but at the same time, it's a lot more efficient to grow a cow than it was 50 or 100 years ago. We figured out their diet pretty well, we figured out how to streamline production. Those might have some ethical or moral problems, but these problems can become sustainable or unsustainable over time. So what does this mean for your projects? What we need to know is that every human action has some level of impact. Most of our actions are routines, habits, things we do over and over again, like brushing your teeth. It doesn't have a lot of thought. And that's where a lot of people get caught in unsustainable practices without realizing it. So what you're going to be doing today is trying to figure out, why do people do these things, and how can we maybe find solutions within the problem. The main idea that we're going to be doing today is defining facts or ideas regarding the who, what, when, and why. And then when we come back to class next week, we're going to be working on our second part, which is the how. How do we think that this action became unsustainable? So I'm also sharing with you guys today a document called Who, And it's not the great classic rock band from Britain, but it's more about organizing some ideas about how we got here. How did the action that you're researching become unsustainable? So there's 4 different categories I want you to fill out today for information. And again, depending on your problem and your research and your topic, some boxes may be filled out more than others. The who is really asking this question. Who are the people or the sectors of humanity that are profiting from, utilizing, benefiting, supporting, expanding your action? So my problem is donut consumption. And a fact that I found is college-age people tend to eat more donuts than adults. So if we're thinking about donut consumption being an unsustainable problem, we have a good idea of what's one demographic, what's one group of people that are causing the problem to occur more than others. Any information about where is really asking where is this problem occurring. So you want to think about where is your problem most prevalent, least prevalent, growing the fastest, where is it the cheapest or more expensive, most popular or least popular. So you're trying to find information about where is your problem occurring and sort of is it occurring because of cheapness, popularity, exponential growth, what's going on with these locations where your problem occurs the most. So one fact I found out is that donut consumption in Sweden is 55 donuts per person per week, while a tax on donuts in Thailand has dropped their consumption to 1 donut per week. So that's a really good piece of information talking about the problem of donut consumption. The third box that you can find information about to help you think about your problem is the why. The why is this. You want to consider the main factors as to why your action is actually taking place. Is it in a display of wealth, success, material goods, status in society? Do we do it for convenience, safety, or health? What are the main reasons why the people and the who are doing the action and the where? So in most countries, donut consumption is actually a display of youthful rigor and wealth. So eating donuts to many societies shows that you are pretty uppity and quite youthful in the society. So if I eat a lot of donuts, people are going to think I'm really youthful and strong and wealthy. And then finally, we have to think about the when. We know that there are some people in certain places doing our action for certain reasons. When did this happen? What are the major events or years at which this action became more popular, cheaper, more accessible, more widespread throughout the year, throughout the world? So what I found in my research is that in the 1970s, as the global economy boomed, more people entered the middle class and started to display their wealth by consuming donuts. Now, all 4 of these facts are totally bogus, but I hope that you can start to think about how are you going to organize information that you learn about your action. I hope this helps. Email me with questions. I'm hoping that you have these 4 boxes done for next class so we can work on the how. How did your action become unsustainable?